Welcome into the Commanders Report. I'm your host, Jack Sperry. Today we got some big trade news in the National Football League as multiple reports confirm that not only are the Washington Commanders shopping running back Brian Robinson Jr., but also the Cincinnati Bengals are taking trade calls for superstar edge rusher Trey Hendrickson. Today on the Commanders Report in this breaking news edition of the show where I'm coming to you here on my day off here at home, I'm going to be breaking down the Brian Robinson Jr. report, and then we'll be talking about Trey Hendrickson and what kind of the possibilities are for the Washington Commanders here. Should they still be interested in Hendrickson? What are some teams that could be interested in Brian Robinson Jr.? What does that mean for this running back room if they're trying to get rid of B-Rob? We're going to answer all those questions on today's show, but make sure you guys click that subscribe button to kick off today's program because we get you guys breaking news Commanders coverage every single time that breaking news happens for this team. All right, whether I'm here at home, whether I'm in the office, whether I'm on vacation, it doesn't matter. If the Commanders make a move or if there's big news surrounding the Washington Commanders, we get you a video no matter where I'm at on planet Earth. So if you guys want that dedicated Washington Commanders coverage every single day for free, make sure you guys click that subscribe button right now. So we'll start with the Brian Robinson Jr. report from Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz today, where he reported that the Commanders have been trying to essentially get rid of Brian Robinson Jr. and trying to sell him off via trade, probably for a late day 3 draft pick, because apparently they don't see any more value in him as their number one running back, which I think pretty much means, guys, that the Commanders are ready to go into the season and name 7th-round rookie running back out of Arizona, Jacory Croskey-Merritt, their number one running back heading into the year. Bill, as he goes by, is somebody that has done a fantastic job at Commanders training camp. He's definitely been the best running back in camp. And, you know, when you hear coaches say, you know, we're going to play the best players, all this different stuff, you know, sometimes, you know, you kind of just say, okay, whatever, you know, you're gonna play the players that are veterans, that are more established. You're gonna play the players that get paid more, all that different stuff. But Jacory Croskey-Merritt is the perfect example of somebody coming in here as a 7th-round pick. Like, if he did not perform this offseason or during training camp, you know, the chances of him getting cut was a legitimate possibility with the depth that the Commanders had in the running back room. Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, Chris Rodriguez Jr., Jeremy McNichols. They like those 4 running backs. So they bring in Jacory Croskey-Merritt as somebody, to give an opportunity to, and somebody that really showed a lot of good things on his college tape. He was at multiple spots throughout his college career, but, you know, he brings good size to the table, explosive cut ability, really good speed. He was the MVP of the Shrine Bowl this year during the draft process. So they saw something in him, took a shot on him in the 7th round, despite some eligibility issues last year. And he just comes in and he takes this job, it seems like, at this point. Because if this is true and the Commanders are trying to deal B-Rob and they're trying to trade him away for an additional draft pick next year, that means that they feel comfortable, you know, moving forward with somebody else as their number one running back. And I don't think it's Austin Eckler at his age. He's more of a really good, you know, change of pace back and a 3rd down back. I think what this means, guys, is Jacory Croskey-Merritt is getting ready to gear up to be this team's number one running back heading into the year. And if you drafted Jacory Croskey-Merritt in your fantasy leagues, you are absolutely jumping for joy right now. And I'm really excited about that possibility, guys. And I want to get you guys juiced up for this idea of the 7th-round rookie Jacory Croskey-Merritt being the starting running back for this team this year. I mean, his explosive running ability mixed with Jayden Daniels, I think, has a chance to be something really, really special in this league, and it's very possible that the Commanders may have gotten the steal of the draft in a loaded running back class this year out of JCM here. And last year, I mean, this was a top 5 rushing offense in the league according to EPA per rush. And that was with B-Rob and Austin Eckler honestly not being the most efficient duo as a running back duo there. It was mostly Jayden Daniels that was driving that metric and why this run game was so effective last year. And you put an even more effective rusher in there, if JCM is truly an upgrade over Brian Robinson Jr., like, this run game might become one of dare I say, the best run game in the National Football League from an efficiency standpoint. So I want you guys to get excited about this, because if the Commanders feel this good about Jacory Croskey-Merritt and they're willing to trade away the guy that they currently went into the season slated to be their number one guy, like, that just speaks volumes to how they feel about Jacory Croskey-Merritt. They don't even want to start him at RB3 to start the season. They don't want to deal with that. They just want to put him at RB1 right away, which should tell you exactly everything that you need to know about how Jacory Croskey-Merritt has played during training camp, how he's played during the offseason program this year. And obviously, I like B-Rob, guys. We actually have our own chant for B-Rob. We have a B-Rob chant during our watch parties when he scores touchdowns, and those are a lot of fun. But, let's face it, B-Rob is a maybe middle of the pack, slightly below average starting running back. He's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but he's certainly not dynamic. And, the Commanders may have just found themselves a dynamic option at running back in the 7th round. And now, after an offseason full of trades and trading away a lot of 2026 draft picks, now they feel like they have an opportunity to unload B-Rob to recoup one of those picks on day 3. We'll see if anyone bites on the trade itself, guys. Some potential suitors to watch out for. The Dallas Cowboys, now I know that's within the division, but if the Cowboys are the only team that comes calling, like, I would still rather get a 7th round pick from the Cowboys than just let him go for free, and then the Cowboys can pick him off of waivers anyway. So Dallas is one to keep your eye on, because right now they just got Javonte Williams, they've got Miles Sanders, they got Jaden Blue. I don't really like any of those options for Dallas. They need a number 1 running back, and B-Rob could absolutely fill that role for them this year. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see an interdivision trade. If there's another suitor out there that's willing to give them a 7th round pick, I definitely think they will choose the in-division option. But if the Cowboys are the only team willing to give the Commanders a pick, that's how I could see this unfolding. But some other outside the division options, I would say the Cincinnati Bengals. Later when we talk about Trey Hendrickson, I'm going to include Brian Robinson Jr. in my trade request, so make sure you guys stick around for that. The Las Vegas Raiders, they got Ashton Genty, but they don't have a true kind of bigger back, to maybe do the short yardage work, the goal line work, if they want to give Ashton a little bit of a break. Honestly, I'm not sure how realistic that one is, but something to consider, because they don't really have a bigger back outside of Genty. They're in Las Vegas. And then the Los Angeles Rams, they drafted Blake Corum last year. He's over 210 pounds. He's a possibility for, kind of short yardage and goal line work and stuff like that. But honestly, if I'm the Rams, I would prefer Brian Robinson Jr. to take that workload over Corum, who showed some good things in his rookie season. But if I'm the Rams, I'm trying to win now. I wouldn't mind throwing a 7th round pick, if I had one, to the Washington Commanders. So those are some teams to kind of keep your eye out for. I'll do some more research on that, see if there's any more teams that kind of make sense there. But upon my first look, those are the 4 teams that kind of stood out to me. But now we can shift our focus here in the second half of today's video on Trey Hendrickson. And obviously we spent a lot of time on this channel throughout the offseason talking about Hendrickson as a potential trade option for the Commanders. We know for a fact that they were in on a Trey Hendrickson trade earlier this offseason. I think they were offering like a 2nd round pick to get him. And of course the Bengals said no to that, around the draft time. But the Commanders could still use an edge rusher at the Leo position, which is currently held by Dorrance Armstrong. Now, the way that the Commanders defense is kind of set up with the 4-3 under kind of base defense that they run here under Dan Quinn is you got kind of like a bigger kind of true base end on one side. That's the Leo is what they call it. Somebody that's a bigger body, that's a good run defender, somebody that can set the edge and can be a legitimate run defender, right? That is the role of the Leo. That's where Trey Hendrickson could fit in here. So even though the Commanders did get Von Miller in free agency right before training camp began, he's more of an outside linebacker. He's more of that Sam linebacker, more of that true edge rusher type, where Trey Hendrickson could come in here and coexist with Von Miller, with Frankie Louvu, so the people that they're going to put at that Sam linebacker spot in this defense. So, You do have the cap space in future seasons, all right? This is one of the sticking points for why I'm so frustrated with the Terry McLaurin situation, is because you do have so much cap space in future seasons. And we're talking about a guy here in Trey Hendrickson who has a chance to turn your defense from, I think it could be borderline top 10 this year. It's a much improved unit this year, in my opinion, to a team that could be knocking on the door of top 5 defense in the National Football League if we can get a guy there in Trey Hendrickson that has led the league in sacks just last year, 17.5 sacks last 2 seasons. He's been one of the most disruptive pass rushers, period, in the National Football League, despite taking a lot of double teams, a lot of chip help. He wins despite that stuff, man. And if you can replace him, or you can replace Dorrance Armstrong with Trey freaking Hendrickson in this defense. I know this team likes Dorrance. They brought him in on a multi-year contract. They seem to like him, but he's not Trey Hendrickson, man. So here's what I would offer to get Trey Hendrickson. I know that the Commanders do have limited picks that they can offer the Bengals. So what I'm going to do, what I would offer is the Commanders get Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals' second-round pick next year in 2026. And the Bengals would get the Commanders' first-round pick next year, a fifth-round pick in 2027, so the following year, and then they get 2 players. Dorrance Armstrong, who is the current Leo in the Commanders' defense, who the Commanders would be replacing with Trey Hendrickson if this deal goes through, and then also Brian Robinson Jr. So from their perspective, they replace Trey Hendrickson with a starting defensive end, Dorrance Armstrong. They also get another running back to pair with Chase Brown, somebody that's bigger than Chase is, someone that can take on that short yardage work, that goal line work in Brian Robinson Jr. You also get an additional first-round pick for next season, and you get a fifth-round pick in 2027 as well. So that would be my offer. I'm not desperate to get Trey Hendrickson. I like the way that the Commanders' defense is already set up. So if they don't get Trey, I'm certainly not, crying about it. I still think this defense can be good even if they don't get Hendrickson here. And then according to Schultz's reporting earlier, the teams that were interested in Hendrickson included the Panthers, Browns, and the Colts. The Commanders were not listed among the teams that, at least he's heard, are interested in Hendrickson at this point in time. So honestly, guys, I would probably say, a Trey Hendrickson trade to the Commanders probably not likely at this point. I do think the Commanders like their roster heading into the year. But if they could somehow pull that off, give him the contract he wants, and give Terry McLaurin the contract he wants, that would be a hell of a way to finish out this preseason heading into the 2025 NFL campaign, man. So certainly not saying it's going to happen or anything like that, but definitely an interesting possibility to talk about. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see if the Commanders can find a team to take Brian Robinson Jr. off their hands. Honestly, the possibility of them having to just release him and, some team picks him up on waivers, it's actually pretty likely at this point, given that, their leverage has completely gone out the window by this report getting out there. So, we'll keep you updated with any updates that we get from Washington when it comes to the Brian Robinson situation here, guys. But Jacory Croskey-Merritt, man, get excited about this young man. I can't wait to watch him play on Monday Night Football. Tomorrow, we're going to be going live for that game, by the way. It's going to be me, Joey Peterson, Ponzi. The whole crew is going to be there. So if you guys want to join us for our second preseason watch party of the year, click that subscribe button and join us tomorrow night. An hour-long pregame show followed by live play-by-play. And then, of course, we got our post-game coverage as well. So I really do appreciate you guys sticking with me here to the end of this breaking news video. I will see you guys tomorrow. And until then, guys, come to the Commanders.